G'day viewers. Normally I'm revealing new content from Dovetail, or others, but today I'm going to talk about a mod, the Midland Mainline Route Enhancement Pack, and it's by Bescot, JetWash, London Midland, Rob S and SprattyHeath. Now, it's only gone live a couple of days ago and it's already had 762 downloads, which shows it's pretty popular. I've got it loaded up and we'll have a look at it in a tick, but I just want to run through it and tell you what's in it first. A bit like when I read the news. I guess we are. Anyway, it says, welcome to our Midland Mainline Enhancement Pack, the biggest pack we've made to this date. We hope you thoroughly enjoy this mod. A special thanks to Muff and Will for providing access to the unofficial editor. Important information for anyone experienced any of the issues listed below. This is a good segue. Mods don't always work. Sometimes they do weird stuff. Sometimes they make your game explode. So if you ever have troubles, get rid of your mods, verify your files, and do that before you go to support. Because, you know, if you've got mods installed, they're not going to help you very much. But anyway, on we go. So, if you have any of the problems HST2 pixelated, 158 window pixelated, I had that one, and the Creators Club livery is not appearing on the Mark IIIs, then there's a mod to the mod. Well, actually, there's 3 mods to the mod, but anyway. So you can download the RAR and pull them out and put the ones in that you need, because not everybody will experience everything. Alrighty. Inside the zip file that you download for the mod, there are several different packs. Some optional, some not so optional. And they also recommend that you have another one, but we'll get into that later. Now you do need some prerequisite content as well, so we'll get into that later too. Just make sure you've got that or the mod won't actually work. Let's start with the HST, the high-speed train. Cab gauge light brightness and colour completely edited to be more realistic and truer to life. Cab light colour has been given an orange hue per the real thing and the lighting levels altered appropriately. Saloon and vestibule lighting on the Mark IIIs has been dimmed significantly. Light colour has been warmed to be more prototypical. Light bleed into the carriage structure has been reduced to imperceptible levels as a result. Male and female uniforms reskinned to match the real uniform as closely as possible within the confines of the model used. Sound attenuation improved. You can hear the horn and engine sounds from further away, and you can hear joints across the points without needing to stand right next to them. Slight weathering and reduction to the overly reflective exterior. Optional cab camera fix, raised seating position by 10 centimeters. I actually don't like this one, and I'm glad it's optional, because I took it out again. Material fixes, retextured and slightly weathered cab, new slam door sound set, updated headlight visuals. Now I have to say some of these are good, and some of them, this is very subjective of course, every mod is very subjective, but to me some of them aren't so good. So we'll cover what I think's good and what I think's not, and you can make your own choices. Of course, this is only for PC too, so don't even bother if you're on a console. Sorry, console people. Class 158. Male and female uniforms reskinned to match the real uniform as closely as possible within the confines of the model used. Sound attenuation improved. Can hear the horn and engine sounds from further away and can hear joints across the points without needing to stand right next to them. Slight weathering and reflectivity reduction. Window tint added across the unit. Material fixes. Internal cab and saloon weathering. New higher resolution decals for signage and stickers. Updated cab button colours. Now all this higher resolution stuff does come at a cost, so if you drive a potato, you might want to not do some of this stuff. The route itself. Various shipping containers have been reskinned and branded. The dumpster bin has added detail. Grit bin has a grit logo. I actually haven't been able to find that one, but maybe we're talking about different things. Porter cabin added graffiti and weathering. All skips have added detail and branding. New era and area appropriate station posters, including a blank wooden board. Realistic vending machine. I actually really like the vending machine, it's cool. New advertising billboards. Trucks have added branding. Excavator has weathering and branding. The van has a completely new custom network rail reskin. Significant addition to trackside foliage. This works best with the UK route vegetation and grass extension pack is used as well, as this all but eliminates issues with draw distances as well as giving better, denser foliage, realistic colours and better grass. That's another mod, so they suggest you use both together. I've got that one installed and we'll see what it's like. Cable trunking added across the whole route. That's an important one because any route with electric signalling has cable trunking. Clutter and rail infrastructure added route-wide. Give it a more lived-in feel. Extra yard lighting and fencing. Etches Park overhauled with elements from Great Western Express, including working train washers, so you need GWE installed for that to work. A Trent viaduct fixed where the original is incorrectly hollow, it now has an interior. Ratcliffe Power Station given entirely new realistic textures, smoke improved and LODs increased significantly, meaning it's now visible much further away. Just one little criticism here, it's not smoke, it's steam. It's coming from cooling towers, okay? It's steam. Real-world logos added to iconic buildings, including the Brushworks at Loughborough and the station sign at East Midlands Parkway. Ballast colours changed across the entire route to reflect the real world. Where they could be identified, various missing speed limit signs and whistleboards have been added. Inappropriate gas storage tank at Mount Sorrel removed and replaced with a structure more representative of a grain silo. Some buffer stops added in places that require them. Various buildings changed across the route, for example the oversized signal box approaching the platforms at Derby not represented by stacked porter cabins. Brand new signal and gantry visuals. More realistic signal light colour, brightness and glow. Updated station lighting with realistic colour temperature for each power station. I think they mean train station. Updated station signage and safety notices with corrected fonts and higher resolution textures. EMT branded signage at depots. And there were a few last minute additions that they put in after the original beta. Further enhancements to the power station including the turbine room. Custom pylons with wires running in and around the station. Lighting in and around Nottingham Station greatly enhanced. Approaching the station at night is now much more realistic and satisfying. Missing prototypical lights between platform 6 and 7 added. Static GSMR texture added to the defunct unit in the HST. Further enhancements to the sound attenuation of both units including brake hiss, etc. Requirements. You must have the Midland Mainline route DLC. Well, that goes without saying. Why would you be putting a mod on for the Midland Mainline route if you didn't have it? Peak Forest Route DLC for enhanced foliage. So it's not required to make the mod work if you don't own it, but you won't get the better foliage. UK route vegetation and grass enhancement pack. Not required to make the main mod work if you don't own it, but, you know, it's free. Why wouldn't you? Download it from here. I'm on the Train Sim community, by the way. I'll put a link to this in the description. The installation instructions are as per usual. You can use the mod manager if you want to, but I've found that Windows 11 doesn't like that much at the moment, so I'll have to sort that out. To install, simply download the link and place the pack file inside your DLC folder in Steam Apps Common, Train Sim World 3, Windows No Editor, rub it in again, TS2 Prototype, Content DLC. Well, that about covers it. So, and then there's the pack files themselves, and there's a RAR with the feedback things, and all of the people going, wow, that's really cool. Well, there's a few of them, but, you know, it's early days. Let's have a look at the game, shall we? Let's see what it's like. If I can find it. Here we go. Okay, we've got the game. I need to get rid of this other window that you can't see anymore. Let's jump in. So, Midland Mainline, funnily enough. Timetable. And let's have a look at the high-speed train first. We'll look at it in daytime, and then we'll go look at it at night time. 10 o'clock will do fine. So while we're loading up, we will go for a bit of a drive, but first I just want to look at the trains in daylight and at night time. Alright, so I don't have the height lifting mod installed, and I already find this train's a little higher than I would like. I'd like to be further back and lower, to be honest, so I can see my controls and my visage at the same time. Now, there's no point checking out the lights in here because it's daytime. But you can see that there is some additional weathering. It's pretty subtle. There's not much going on here. There is the GSMR texture. It still doesn't actually work because, you know, can't make miracles. Can't make the game do things it's not meant to do. Let's jump out of the chair and let's have a look at the outside. First up, the reduced shiny. I actually think the reduced shiny might have gone a little too far, because this to me looks like Train Sim Classic. Maybe a little more detailed than Train Sim Classic, but it looks like Train Sim Classic. So it needs a bit of that shiny metal finish back again. I mean, there's no reflectivity at all anymore. It's just gone. So that's not such a winner for me. Now, there's new door sounds. They're pretty cool. And enter into sliding doors. And we can see that our light bars in the ceiling here have a more yellow hue, slightly warmer colouring. It doesn't really affect anything during the daytime, and we'll see what that looks like at night in a moment. Alright, let's go and have a look at the 158 if it hasn't left yet. It's disappearing off into the distance, isn't it? Of course it is. Okay. Oh, let's look at the HST on the duck side. Yeah, I stick by my comment. This is too Train Sim Classic for me, so it does need a bit of shiny back. And the whole train could do with that too, I think. Alright, we'll come back in a moment and we'll have a look at the 158. So back to the main menu. Alright, here we are in the 158. As you can see, the cab's quite grubby now. Someone was eating white donuts with the soft icing sugar, I suspect, and they've put their grubby fingerprints all over the handset here and the GSMR, and there's some greasy fingerprints on the wall. And there's a this train maintained by Nottingham East Croft depot thing. GSMR's the same. You can still turn it on, do all those sorts of fun things. There's a bit of weathering on the deck of the console where someone's been putting their coffee cup fairly regularly and spilling it as well. There's a mysterious white stain over here. I just don't really want to know what that is. And there's some more coffee marks down there in the back. Alright, let's go look at the rest of the train. The whole thing is a little grubbier up front here. In the train part, I don't really see a lot of difference, to be honest, when you come through here. I think they've done the same with the lighting. It's a somewhat more yellow hue. But whether it makes a difference at night time, who knows? We shall see. The PIS saying this is Matlock. Clearly it's not. I'll have a look outside when it'll let me. Here we go. So I have the fix to put the reflectivity back on the windows because, to be honest, I hated it without it. So I put it back. But, you know, do whatever. The outside, I think, was already a little bit weathered on the 158, but I don't know if they've done any more or not. If they have, it's subtle. I can't really tell. The reflectivity of the paintwork on this, I think, is better than the HST. So it's still a little bit reflective, which is what I like. Not much. It's subtle, but it's a little bit reflective. I kind of think maybe it's not quite reflective enough again. But, you know, that's just me. That's a subtle thing. Alright, let's jump back in. And we'll go on a quick drive out onto the route just so you can see some vegetation and other excitement like that. Let's just get this little beast ready. Get the doors open. Let's get it into forwards. Yes, I know you won't. DRA, actually let's leave DRA on because we do have a red signal. Headlights. Now they've apparently changed the headlights a little bit. Let's have a quick look out the front. We're in the roof. Of course we are. That's so handy, Train Simulator. Right, let's use the other camera and go up here. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a little bit more yellow. The LED ones aren't even on at the moment. They only come on at night time anyway. So we can go. The doors were already shut, and I've just opened them again. That's clever. Let's close them again. Here's our HST coming back in. pop our DRA off. And get out of here. Oops, no, why are my doors open? We're not going anywhere. Not while the doors are open. Oh, I confused the scenario start thing. Come on. Come on, doors. Are you closing or not? Yep, they're closing. Slowest guard in the world. Come on, let me have control. Give it to me. Why are you like that? DRA's off. Why can't I drive? What a strange thing. Brakes are off, aren't they? Oh, that was the problem. I thought I released him with the rail driver. I must have done it too soon. Ha! Traps for young players! Anyway, let's get out of the train and go up here near these points. Let's hear them. You can hear some point noise there. Let's pop the full revs up so we can hear the engines. Yeah, the engines have kind of petered out now. Can still hear the horn. Just cut that off so we don't end up speeding. Yeah, it's getting quieter. That's probably pretty good because train horns are loud, you know. And by stock, they are quite a bit early. This is probably... It's probably still working a little too well, to be honest. It's a long way away now. But anyway, let's get out here. Let's have a look around. So, as you can see, there is a lot more foliage, and it's quite dense. And there's patches of grass around the place. There are some buffer stops around the place that were not there before. Some of them were, some of them were not. There's a branded container. And the big difference is you can see a lot of foliage. Let me say that again. Foliage. It's everywhere. And you can see our cable trunking along there as well. It appears and disappears just like it prototypically does because it's under the weeds. So, all in all, the route looks quite a lot more lived in. And it looks more unkempt, the way railways generally are. I mean, we're out of the days of the 50s where they just burnt the crap from fence to fence. So, it's good to see this much stuff just hanging around the edges. It's quite nice. We can see our man's uniform there, actually. There we go. We can't quite get in there. We can't see it quite properly, but yeah, he appears to have a canvasy sort of top on, and he's got a velour vest and his name tag. See how it looks from the side, if I can get there. So I can't go in there, of course, because it's me. But yeah, basically got an ID thing on. He's a little bit grubby. Most train people are. It's just a fact of life, because terrains are grubby. Alright then, why don't we come back at night time and have a bit of a quick look. Alright, we are back here, and it's certainly dark. The cab looks okay at night time. Let's turn on the GSMR, see what that looks like. It's still excessively bright. Not sure if you can only turn them on and off in this one. Let's put our night headlights on, because, you know, we wanted to look at those, didn't we? Night headlight, there we go. And what about our cabin lights? Yeah, that's slightly yellowy. I'm not sure about the yellowy in this one because it's a fluorescent panel, so I would have actually thought That was probably about where it should be before. But, you know, it makes these people happy, so let's leave them as they are. Okay, let's jump out of the chair and go look in the passenger compartment. This is definitely more yellowy in here. It does seem a little dark up near the ceiling, though. And in here, definitely more yellowy, so it's a whiter thing. They do appear to have the lights on the right channel too, which is good, because the people actually light up now, which is something... Was it this route where they didn't? I kind of think it was this route where they didn't before. So you would have been a shadow before, I think. But no, it's not too bad now. So that's okay. Cool, I don't mind this. Let's see what the textures look like outside at night time in the lights. They look okay at night time. There's the new headlights. Slightly different arrangement. It's pretty similar to what's on the dovetail trains, actually. Alright, so that is the 158. And the lights here in the station certainly are a bit different. So we've got some lighting out here. It's a slightly yellower colour. Under the covers here, though, there's not that much they can do under here because this is light baked. And things like these weird bits of darkness that are in here, there's not something a modder can actually fix. So this is because of the light baking, and it's not a brilliant one, I'm afraid. So if you don't know, some light in the game is generated when you want it, and some light in the game is generated before the game runs, so at compile time if you like. And that's called light baking. And they usually do that for light sources that are unnatural, or places that need to be dark. So, yep, that's what light baking is. Alright, so we will come back in a moment. Let's put the cab lights on. Oh yeah, that's definitely a more yellow sort of tinge. Night headlights, we'll wait and have a look at those at the moment. Put the master key on and let's get it into forwards. Reset that, and then we can have our instrument lights, and they can get brighter and brighter. They do look pretty good. I reckon about there is probably about right for me. So, you know, lighting, it's one of those things. You love it or you hate it. Let's go outside. Let's see what the textures look like. Now, here's a grit box that supposedly has a logo on it now, but they don't actually seem to have one. So there's our new headlights. Do they look different to me? Not a huge amount. The texture's slightly more reflective looking at nighttime, so it's lost that Train Sim Classic sort of feel. So I actually think they might want to dial the reflectiveness back up just a little, but that's a very personally subjective thing. So let's look in the cars now. In the vestibule it's still very, very blue. Oh, what's happened in here? The cars are lit up, but the light bars aren't on. I can't say I recall whether it was like this pre-mod or not, but the colouring in here is pretty okay for nighttime. There's a bit of grub on the map there, a bit of grub on the wall, so you can see that. Can't go through there. Yes, there's a bit of grub here and there. Did they make the toilet work? Oh, that'd be a mod of the century, making the dunnies work. Okay, here we are at Nottingham. We'll be taking this 158 out shortly. Let's have a look at the new posters. There's the East Midland Trains poster. Another one there. Another one there. Alright, these are both new. You can climb back up and things will look different from Leon. And there's the Burger King. We call that Hungry Jack's in Australia, because Burger King's not allowed in. There's some billboard posters. They seem to have a Not the best LOD, maybe, because they look alright once you've been up close to them. Here's some other posters, branded, assorted brands. I don't really need to tell you what those brands are. I'm sure you can figure it out. Ah, what about a vending machine? We want to find a vending machine, don't we? There's one, over there. We're going to go racing across the tracks. Not that you'd ever do this, no. That looks quite cool. Yeah. That does look significantly better than the blank vending machine. I like that. That's cool. I'd like that to turn up everywhere. The only other one that's anything like that is the Pringles vending machine that was in there as part of a competition, which inexplicably is still there, but that's okay. Alright, let's jump in this 158 and get out of here. World's slowest guard. Come on, guard. Get the door shut. Waiting for the signal. We're supposed to buzz him back when he buzzes us, aren't we? He or she. There you go. Buzz him back. DRA off. And away we go. Now, it's a little while before we get to see the power station, but I thought, why not go for a little bit of a ride and get the flavour? See how we feel about this mod. So we cruise out of Nottingham on our way to Beeston. Is that where they have beasties? Pop our GSMR on. Let's listen to the points. Got a branded van there. And yes, the excavator has a company name on it. This containers are still unbranded. Yeah, certainly can hear the points. What about the horn? I actually think it's a bit loud for this distance, but maybe that's just because I'm used to it in the game. Alright, let's fang it. So you can see lots of foliage around the sides there. The trees were there before, but the grasses and things, the dense, lush grasses of peak forest have appeared, which is good to see. Now, these signal bridges are supposed to be a bit different. Let's have a look. So, the LEDs, I think they are a bit different. Different lighting. I don't know that I personally would actually pick whether it was there or not. I don't look at them that hard, to be honest. I just read the signal and move on. But we can see our cable trunking down there in the weeds again. It's good to see. Didn't hear those points at all, so I don't know what's going on there. How did I spin all the way around like that? Let's just go and get into the weeds somewhere and watch the train come past from the weeds. Here we go. Let's jump in the weeds here. I think you are hearing the train running sounds a bit longer, which I kind of like. Because trains are kind of loud. Even quiet trains are loud. So we're almost at Beeston. I'll have to start slowing down this soon, because this thing's brakes are like... diving into a bowl of jelly. They kind of stop you, but you still hit the bottom of the bowl. Saw a Maersk truck over there. And yes, some branding on the equipment there. So yeah, it's a little bit different. I think there's a bit of a yard up here, so let's go have a look. What have we got up here in the yard? Yeah, so we have some construction equipment. We have some branded bits and pieces. We have some branded trucks and the branded van, the Network Rail van. We have got some graffiti on the little box, so that's kind of cool. And we should probably put the brakes on, because we're coming into Beeston. Brakes are better than I remembered them. Maybe I'm thinking of the 150. Maybe that's the thing with the really awful brakes. Because these ones actually don't seem too bad. Lots of foliage again over there. Or foliage, depending on how you would like to pronounce it. Let's finish our stoppage. We've gone a bit past the stoppage point, but you know, that's okay. All right. No headlights, what? Could have sworn I turned them on. But maybe not. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Here come the people onto the platform. They're a little bit late, but they're heading for the train now. She's stuck in molasses, clearly. Well, look at all these people still coming. But you know what? They should have got here on time, really. Guard closes those doors, then closes their own. There goes the one up the back. And away we go. Next up is East Midlands Parkway, which is pretty close to the power station, so we should see it relatively soon. We're a fair way away from East Midlands Parkway though, so just enjoy the additional foliage while you can. Looks a little Jurassic Park, lots of ferns. But I think it's nice. It's a little different to the way it was, a little more rich, a little more lush. A little more unkempt. Which, face it, is the way most railways are. I'm not sure I like the shadow running along beside the cable trough there. Why don't we go up to what that whistle's for, which is this little barrow crossing here. How's our horn? I will stay in the cab now because I want to see where the power station appears. You can see some more branded stuff there. The bins and the trucks and the excavator have some branding on them. We're going through this next station. We do not stop here. Now we're 3 miles out from East Midlands Parkway, so the power station's rather big. So let's see where we see it. I could have horned for that crossing there, but I was just pretending I'm in Germany. Well, here are some of the power pylons that are not too distant from the power station. Now, I recall the way it used to appear, it would be quite wibbly-wobbly, and it would be very low LOD. So I'm expecting to see it fairly soon. Oh, and there it is, in fact. There's the first parts of it over there through the trees. So we haven't seen the giant cooling towers yet, but we've seen the first part of the plant. Actually, I might be kidding myself. That might be some other plant over there. I kind of think that is one of the chimneys from the power station. So let's just get the power off anyway, because we're pretty much where we need to be for power. Coming around the corner, that is a chimney from the power plant. We've got a double yellow. Let's just get some breakage happening. And there it is. I can't see the... Oh, there's the cooling towers. So yes, you do definitely see them much, much earlier. That's pretty cool, and it's a nice high LOD too. So let's pop outside. Plenty to see. Looks like the power lines actually have cables on them now too. I kind of think they were missing in the actual route. So that's quite impressive. I'm pretty happy with that. See that there is steam emitting from all of the cooling towers. I'd be a little bit surprised on a summer's day if all the cooling towers were actually operating. Simply because there wouldn't be that much load, because you would have a lot of solar and the like at this time of day, so a base load power station like this one wouldn't necessarily have that much going on. Let's just jump out of the train. I put the brakes on, so it should calm down. Let's just take a little run up the branch into the power station here, see how far we can get. So the cooling towers do look relatively cool. I did talk to the guy who modded this, because I wasn't sure about the dirt on the towers, but it seems that it is there in real life, so it's probably some kind of moss or something like that. Unfortunately, you can't deliver anything to the plant, because, you know, that would have been cool. Yeah, there does seem to be a little bit of extra detail items here and there in the plant, and it's a little... It seems a little bit different, let's put it that way. It does still seem quite clean and tidy in there, but, you know, this sort of thing probably would be. There's its little treatment lagoons. Let's jump back in our train and get going again. Time to race an HST. Yeah, I have to say this bit's definitely a bit of a winner. There's some nice clutter and stuff around there. The buildings look to have been modified slightly as well, so different textures. Yeah, I think the power station's a winner. We should probably stop for this. What were we even have one door in? Yes. Plenty. Let's just go and have a little wander around this station and see what this one looks like now. I'm not sure if that was there before. I'm not going to tell you it wasn't. There's a grit box which they're supposedly branded now, but I see nothing on there. There's some posters, very similar to the same ones we saw before, basically. Here's a closer look at the Network Rail Vans response unit. Must be lots of naughty people here for these to be in here. We can forgive that they're the same registration number, because, you know, modders can only work with what they've got. There's only one model. It's a local beer ad that's mostly been ripped off by the looks of it. Maybe it's some stickers stuck on the board, who knows. Anyway, let's jump back in the train. We'll take it a little bit further and then we will end this video, I think. So let's get the doors closing. Let's go and watch the Guard. So the Guard's closed all the other doors. Now the Guard's going to close their door. That, I have to say, was actually a nice touch to have the AI Guard closing their doors separately. Well, what do you think? If you're on PC, are you going to try this mod out? Let me know in the comments. I think I'll leave it, see how I feel about it for a while. The foliage mod, by the way, adjusts the foliage on a whole lot of UK routes. So if you want to try that one out as well, I'll put links into both into the description of this video. And you can have a crack and see what you think for yourself. But I think this gives the route a nice lived-in feel. I like a grubby train because trains really are grubby. I've mentioned a couple of times that I thought the reflectivity is probably a little bit too much of it gone now. Some of the cableways seem to be floating. They're not on the ground. So maybe if that could be addressed in a future patch, perhaps. Like there was one there that's floating. I think that's where their shadows are coming from on some of them too. I mean, maybe they're intentionally up that high, but who knows. Looks like the power lines are casting shadows too. That's kind of cool. I do remember seeing in test that the pylons didn't actually have cables between them. I don't know if the mods put that in or if they've just been updated into the route. Because it has been a little while since I played this, and I know it did get a fairly significant patch at one point. So that could well have been in there. As we head down towards Loughborough. Actually, we'll go down to Loughborough because there is some change down at Loughborough. So we'll stick with the train for the moment, and we'll race down there as fast as our little 158 can take us, which faced us is not that fast. But that's okay. We like you anyway, little 158. Let's have a look at this little building over here and see what we've got. So we've got another Network Rail Van. There seems to be a lot of Network Rail Vans around the place. There's a couple more. How about the containers in here? Are they branded? They are branded. Hanjin. Let's get way up ahead and let's see what the horn sounds like. So I'm going to go until I can't hear the train anymore, and then I'm going to go a bit further. And we will stop here at this little milepost. Not bad, actually. I don't mind where you start to hear the train itself and the horn. I thought it was a little loud earlier, but I actually think it's not too bad. It's tremendously loud out here, of course, which makes me yell at you, but that's not fantastic. But I've got the sound turned up to my normal gameplay levels, which I normally turn it down when I'm recording or streaming in my own headphones. But I've got it turned up at normal gameplay levels because I wanted to hear the sounds from the mod. You can always tell the streamers that don't turn their games down in their headphones, by the way, because they yell at you. Like I just did just before when I looked over at my level meter and thought I am peaking up right, and not just about peaking in the reds. Right now I'm just sort of peaking in the reds, but before I was solid in the reds. So that's not very good. Double yellows, we'll slow down a little as we approach Loughborough. I did have a moment earlier on when I was testing out the mod that the 158 went totally silent while it was coasting, and I'm pleased to say it hasn't done it again. I don't remember that happening earlier in the game, but I'm also not going to tell you that it's the mod because I'm not 100% certain on that one, so I don't want to steer you wrong. Really do wish we'd get better water in Train Sim World. The Unreal Engine is capable of amazing water. Do you know, I thought there was enough room to not get chucked out of there, but I was wrong. So it's still making some noise while we coast. It hasn't gone totally silent. As we roll our way into Loughborough. The yellow, and we better brake a little bit because we are changing tracks. And I think this is the station that I wanted to bring you to. Still a little bit of a LOD issue on this bridge here. I saw it was a bit crinkle cut. We have some one branded containers, although some of them are backwards. That's a bit interesting. Got HST sitting in Loughborough. Just get in and get the doors open and we'll have a look at the factories, because one of them has been changed. One particular one which is quite important to the English railway world. So I'll show you that in just a moment. Let's just get in and get the train stopped. Get the doors open and let's jump onto the external camera, and there it is. The brushworks. It would be really cool if that sign lit up, but I've been back here at night and it doesn't seem to. That would be really cool if it did. I don't know if they changed anything else or just the sign on the brushworks, but this is actually where a lot of the UK's earlier trains were in fact made. So kind of an iconic place. Anyway, I think this is probably as good a place as any to end our video. So we can come and stand with this person here and watch the 158 nick off. After all the doors shut, Waiting for the buzzer. I'd ask this person what they think of the route, but, well, they never talk, do they? And as our 158 fades into the distance, we can look on at the famous Brush Locomotive Works and fade out, and that'll be the end. So all up, yeah, I think the mod adds quite a lot to the route. There's a few things about it that I'm not that enamored with, but there's nothing that I hate. So yeah, good job. And that was from Bescot, JetWash, London Midland, Rob S and SprattyHeath, who all have many mods to their credit. So that's about it for this video. Let me know what you think of the mod, if you're going to use it or not. Sorry about console people, you can't have mods. Sorry. Anyway, all good. See you later. Have fun, folks. Bye.